right, yeah, this is the start of the third race, and we've got just about 2.5 minutes, and this time we're going to watch Scott Latham, 13:29. Scott had a great last race, and we're going to see what he does for an approach here for the start. So we're almost at 2 minutes. It appears it's a leeward end favorite. A lot of the boats are down at the leeward end. Scott just went head to wind to check the wind, and that's good. That was one of the things everybody discussed at the starting talk about how you want to know what the wind is doing, and especially even in the sequence, it's good to check it out the way Scott just did. Okay, we're coming up on 1 minute. Scott's cruising along on the port tack approach. Here's Mike going up towards the weather end as well, so I'm guessing I was wrong, and maybe it's a weather end favored. There's 1 minute. Scott's still cruising along here on port. Here's Mike luffing along, looking for a hole. You know what, the breeze just went hard right, and it appears that Mike obviously has picked it up. He's going to the committee boat. Scott's doing the same thing, tacking a little bit shy of it underneath the group. Nice positioning. Notice how he has a huge hole to leeward here. It's not far off the guys to weather, doing a nice job of keeping the boat clear. He's got 10 seconds about. He's trimmed in and rolling. Here's Mike trimmed in and rolling up to weather. There's the gun. Scott did a nice job. Very conservative start, up near the weather end, but not so close to any boats he can't do what he wants to do. Looks pretty sweet. And Mike, too, had a real good one. Very good one. Okay, we're watching the start of the fourth race, and this start we're going to watch Mike Gillum, and we are just about at 2 minutes. He's just left the pin. He's on port tack, third of the way down the line, and from where we are here, it looks like it's a real serious leeward end favored. And we'll see what Mike does here. Okay, we just had 1 minute. Mike has tacked on to starboard. He obviously is going for the weather third, the middle of the line. Mike Ingham is doing his usual middle of the line start. It appears a leeward end favored, and it's stacking up down at the pin.
25.
Mike has a nice hole.
20.
Let's watch how he carves this hole out and holds it. Notice how he's sitting here luffing, opening that gap up to leeward.
10.
There's 10 seconds. He's trimmed his main. Now he's trimming his jib. Whoop. start from Mike. Obviously he timed it well, so he was rolling in relation to chip. But it is a lured in favorite, and we have a pretty good stack up here. And this is a good example why sometimes it's a good idea to kind of avoid the traffic like this. Mike Ingham had a little bit of trouble there at the start, and he's bailing out. Gillum looks really good. Mike's already heading out to the right. First guy to tack, clear air. He looks pretty launched right now. At the top mark, it's Scott Latham in the lead. Let's watch Scott bear off. A little bit of heel to weather. Dave Blumberg, Dave Karen, and then Mike. Notice how Mike's dove right to lure to get an inside position there. He has the opportunity to jibe if he wants to, and he's already gained a whole lot of position on these boats to weather. And McCorkle's in 5th. But here's a good example. Mike's able to jibe, and these guys were pinned out above, so they couldn't jibe. So how wide Mike's coming in here. Nice wide and tight. Jibs eased. Very good. A little bit of heel. Look at that. That is perfect. Just exactly what it ought to be. Look how much higher he is than the boats behind. Notice how Joe's come real wide here. He's come outside so he can make a nice tight rounding behind the boats. There we go. Look at the difference here. Look at the amount he's already gained on the boats that got pinned to lured. Good pile coming in here. Nice. Notice how Mike is so tight on this side, wide over here. Jib was luffing until he's on his close hauled course. Dave Tilson. Jib's eased. But you can see the difference right here that it makes coming in a little wider than tighter and keeping that jib eased until you're around. Big difference. Watch Terry coming in. Dave did a nice job there. We see his jib was luffing as he went around. Look how much to weather is even on Scott right here. He did a really nice rounding. Mike rounding the last leeward mark here of the fourth race. Pretty nice lead.
Ready, Bob Gales, first boat around, 3 9 6
Notice how Mike's coming in a little bit high above the offset, so he can bear off nicely.
You guys want a beer or anything?
Go the Lettmeyers around the offset. Notice how they're a little bit high too. Terry just pulled the board up. Jib comes in. Main out. Chute up. Notice how Lori held the jib in tight so the chute could go out underneath the skirt. Nicely done. Roll right into a jibe. Notice how Liz is holding the jib in so the chute can fly out underneath the skirt, holding the pole forward. Nicely done. This is the start of the fifth race, and we're going to watch Joe McCorkle this time. 39.94. We're probably getting down close to a minute and a half before the start. Joe's on starboard, probably 6 or 8 boat lengths up from the pin. Mike Ingham is in the middle of the line on port, heading back towards the committee boat. Just kind of cruising along, looking for his hole. Joe's now on his tack to port, past the pin, approaching on port. We just had 1 minute. Joe's on port. Mike is tacked onto starboard in the middle of the line. Once again, got like 45 seconds. Mike is all by himself. Big hole. Check it out. Big hole to leeward, just like the doctor ordered. Here goes Joe tacking into a nice hole. Nicely done. Look at the hole to leeward. Scott Latham underneath him. Got like 20 seconds. Notice how Joe's doing a nice job carving out a hole between he and Scott. He's got the boat stalled. Nice hole to leeward. 10. He's trimmed in now. He's rolling. Nice start. Notice how he hasn't trimmed for close haul yet. There he goes. Nice, smooth, slow trim. Excellent start. Excellent start. Mike had a nice, clean, conservative start as well. Big hole to leeward. Big hole to weather. A little bit of a righty here, so being up towards the weather end appears to be advantageous at this point. Got it? Got it. Good. Stay right behind him, Joe, if you can.